Welcome again, everybody. We'll keep letting people in as we go along. And as always, we'll start with a short introduction with some slides, and then Katya and I will be happy to answer any questions you might have. And we always love hearing your experience and how it's going for you with the short moments practice.
Starting with the way we use our mind, just to settle into open intelligence. And yeah, fundamentally, there are two approaches to the use of the mind. We know the one approach of focusing on our thoughts, emotions, and sensations, and we call all of these data. And the focus is on describing the emotions, the sensations, the thoughts, and finding meaning within them, and analyzing however we deal with the content of our mind. So just having that as one way of using our mind, and another way of using our mind is the focus is placed on the nature of mind and open intelligence, meaning in this teaching here, recognizing open intelligence as in the midst of all the thoughts and emotions and experiences. So the approach is to use our mind, recognizing the essence of everything, yeah, the nature of mind, open intelligence. Yeah, and short moments of open intelligence, meaning rest the mind naturally without describing anything, without seeking anything, just rest naturally. This was actually one of the teachings we had on a poster. It wasn't a poster that we initially saw when we met the teaching in India, but one of them. But I always loved that, rest the mind naturally, without describing anything, without seeking anything. And we just rest naturally. And it was a very new way of using my mind, just allowing everything to rest rather than getting into the content of mind, trying to understand, analyze, or simply go with what is occurring. But then getting to know something about myself that is naturally at rest, naturally stable. Mm, the essence of everything, what's looking right now, open intelligence. And it's naturally present. We don't need to actually cultivate anything here or try to get into a state or try to have certain thoughts or emotions. It's what is naturally present with whatever is occurring. And data, so all our thoughts and emotions within open intelligence, can be likened to a breeze in the air, blowing through the air. The breeze and the air are inseparable. Both are air. When a breeze blows, it is the dynamic energy of air. When data stir, they are the dynamic energy of open intelligence. So these metaphors, and also the next one, like the color blue, is inseparable from the sky. Data are inseparable from open intelligence. These two metaphors evoke the inseparability of open intelligence and data, meaning that open intelligence is naturally present. It cannot not be present. But it's nothing to really think about. It's something that comes about more and more in an instinctive recognition that open intelligence is naturally present as everything. So the way we might be used to looking at our experiences or emotions and thoughts as meaning that we might feel relief or that we look for well-being within it. Here we just recognize something about us where well-being is always present. Open intelligence is always present and isn't dependent on what we are thinking or feeling. But the inseparability, I like the breeze in the air because we cannot separate it out. It's like it's impossible to think about it as well. So, in the same way, it's impossible to think about how open intelligence is everything. Same as the color blue in the sky, inseparable. It's it's naturally one, but it's still different and nothing really to try to wrap our heads around. But it becomes more instinctive. We can instinctively recognize that open intelligence is within everything. Yeah, so when we rely on open intelligence rather than emphasizing data or trying to control their natural flow, we experience the soothing energy and clarity of open intelligence. From the first time we choose a short moment of open intelligence, we experience relief from our usual thought processes. So it is again a different way of using our mind and take a short moment rather than getting all involved in the thoughts, analyzing and thinking, just taking a short moment. And sometimes we don't know what a short moment is, short moment of open intelligence. But it gives a short moment of open intelligence and allows everything to be as it is, as the energy of open intelligence. And that kind of urge to try to change our thoughts and emotions lessens over time once we gain more and more confidence in open intelligence. That is something that is ultimately reliable. And rather than trying to get good data, that is something we want to rely on, but or good emotions or thoughts, but it's like it never happens ultimately. Maybe temporarily, but long term, it's impossible to keep good emotions in place or good thoughts. So we get to know something about us that is always stable and clear, naturally present. And maybe.
Once we know this is possible, we can make a conscious choice. Do we choose to be limited by a mind ruled by habitual thought patterns, or do we choose to gain confidence in open intelligence and thereby discover what has gone undiscovered? To facilitate this discovery, we should ask ourselves, where do the appearances within my mind come from? Where are they now, and where do they go? Yeah, usually we're so immersed or absorbed by what appears in our mind that we never really pay any attention or notice the space of mind, where they are, these thoughts, these emotions. Can you like take a moment now and look for where your thoughts are? It seems they're in our head because that's what we learned, but can you find a place there? Where do they come from? And where do they go once they're gone? And so, in this kind of simple inquiry, which isn't something to think about, but really look at in our direct experience, that's really where this instruction can be unpacked more fully. So this isn't a neuroscientific experiment where we need to have brain scans and have all kinds of theories about the brain, but just look directly in your direct experience. And ultimately, with all these appearances, they come, they stay seemingly, and then resolve, something else appears. But what's aware of them all? What's what's looking at your thoughts? What's thinking? What's sensing? What's emoting? All phases of the appearance of thoughts, the appearing, the staying, and the going, occur only within open intelligence. However, in stable open intelligence itself, which is what the mind is in its ultimate sense, there is never any change. The space doesn't change no matter what weather pattern is moving through. Just like the ocean doesn't change, whether it has big waves or small waves or is completely still. same ocean. Same is true for the essence of mind. The more deeply we examine our minds, the more we will see that just as mist arises in the sky and dissolves back into the sky, appearances arise in the mind and vanish back into it. The perceptions are the dynamic capacity of open intelligence, that and nothing more. Whatever appears within the mind is the energy of open intelligence. The dynamic energy comes and goes, inseparable from open intelligence, but open intelligence itself remains unchanged. Mind and open intelligence are completely synonymous. So it's open intelligence that's thinking. It's open intelligence that's feeling, sensing. It just never really looked at itself because it was so absorbed in all the stories we're spinning all day long as open intelligence. So you're not discovering something else, you're discovering your true nature, which has always been there. That's why it's called true nature. It just has gone completely unnoticed. The here and now spontaneously burns off. It is impossible to prolong it, shorten it, or adapt it in any way. Instead of trying to alter the course of data, we let it be as it is, resting naturally, without seeking anything. Open intelligence's beneficial potency becomes predominant as a matter of course. This is the demonstration of complete perceptual openness in all data. Often there is in all experience. Now it's in all data. Complete perceptual openness. So instead of locking perception into this thought and diving into it and going around on its roller coaster ride, perception is as it is, wide open, complete perceptual openness in all data. There is no need to indulge, renounce, transform, refine, or analyze data. That's what we've learned, that we need to do all these things to eventually, when we're done with all of that, we can finally relax. With the introduction to open intelligence, we can relax right now with our mind exactly as it is, with whatever thought that's going on, emotion that's going on, sensation that's going on. So we can simply let each data stream flow on by. Nothing need be done about the data. The only reality of data is open intelligence benefit. Data shine forth within open intelligence like rays of the sun shine within the sun.
And the only way to realize this benefit is to stop trying to control thoughts, emotions, or habitual patterns, anything that we can describe, can call data, but sometimes to be more clear that we don't need to control our thoughts, emotions, or any habitual patterns that we want to get rid of. So, in other words, we just relax and allow the thinking and feeling to do whatever it will. As we let go of our habit of trying to change the contents of the mind and simply rely on open intelligence, in which all thoughts arise and pass away, that basis becomes more and more obvious. So open intelligence becomes more and more obvious. We gain confidence in open intelligence, and that happens in a very natural and effortless way. We don't need to do much for that other than showing up to meetings like this or showing up to reading books on open intelligence, listening to the talks, just hearing about open intelligence as our nature evokes it and makes it more and more obvious. When we take short moments, we just take short moments without looking how they feel and what they do, then it becomes more and more obvious that there is open intelligence at the basis of everything. So just as the morning sun appears in the sky and outshines all the planets and stars, so too when we relax and allow all the thoughts, emotions to do whatever they will, the clear light of the wisdom mind begins to outshine all the thoughts, emotions that arise. Another beautiful metaphor. So the clear light of wisdom mind, open intelligence, outshines all the thoughts and emotions that are visible at night. They're still there. They don't disappear during the day, just there. And the sun outshines all the planets and stars. A very beautiful metaphor. I always love that. And that's gaining confidence in open intelligence. Okay, I guess we'll pause here for today. So we have time for shares and also questions. Do you have any questions that you might have? Or sharing how the 12 empowerments are going or short moments. Ah, yes, Debbie, hello.
Hi, did I get it
Hello.
right? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes,
Okay,
perfect.
great, great. Um, well, I had the question. Um, I practice short moments as often as I remember and listening to videos, coming to the meetings, reading the books. Haven't continued with the empowerments yet, but hopefully I'll get back on track with those in the near future when all the stars align and I'll make that possible. Um, And my question is the wisdom mind and versus regular thoughts. I think I've had a couple examples in my life where it was wisdom mind that was guiding me. But my question is, how do you recognize regular thoughts from wisdom mind so that you know the kind of appropriate direction to take in life? Not really appropriate, but the guided way to move forward in life.
Yeah, great. Well, nice to hear you. And yeah, and yes, it's a good question. And uh, it's always something that I also ask myself. But what I notice in my own experience is that with more confidence, sometimes even not knowing might appear, but with more confidence in open intelligence, there's just more and more knowing that clarity, wisdom, mind, that you know that that is the right direction, and less there's confusion about what is now data, hope and fear, and trying to figure things out, and what is wisdom. There's just like more an effortless knowing, and and to make it practical, because that can feel very abstract. When do I know? And then but it's like that sounds vague. And I would, in my own practice, what felt most helpful there was just to continue gaining confidence. And along the way, along this gaining confidence, there are times when it's just like you said, you have times where it's clear, it's the wisdom mind, it's clear knowing. And then there are other times where it's unclear, and I would just take another short moment. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, it just simply invites for another recognition of open intelligence, because it really ultimately, like, not knowing and feeling unclear is another appearance, and that might be the wisdom. Right? It's like, not saying that it is, but it getting familiar with not knowing and not feeling that is a threat, or being caught up in one's own emotions and thoughts, and that not being a threat is another part of gaining confidence in open intelligence, really getting familiar with those kinds of data. Yeah, hope that is helpful.
Yeah. And on the flip side, would Yes, gaining more confidence and recognizing open intelligence, how it kind of feels, I guess you might say. So on the flip side of that, if there's efforting involved, would that kind of be a key indicator that open intelligence really hasn't engaged yet, and that it's really the mind pushing for something? I guess it would be great to know that the negative marker that I could use to say, hey, take a short moment and keep taking a short moment until it feels less effortful.
Yeah, I guess it definitely can be a reminder to take a short moment.
Mhm.
That is probably that's the best way to. At one point, even efforting will feel like effortless, but it but I think it's perfect reminder. It's a perfect reminder to take another short moment. Because when we try to figure things out and we get caught up in things, then there is a lot of effort, and then there's a lot of thinking, and then we looking at everything and maybe avoiding open intelligence in this moment. Especially initially, that's definitely good then to take short moments.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's definitely good to take short moments in that moment. I don't know if Jochen wanted to share something around that, but yeah, generally that's perfect reminder.
That was
You'll
a good
actually,
one-liner,
oh yeah,
Kathy.
yeah.
Um, Even efforting is effortless. That's a good one to try and wrap our head around.
Yeah, that is. It's kind of like, okay.
But I see in my experience, just like you said, it's so tempting to want to pin this down and say, okay, now I got it. Now I know I'm in wisdom mind. Now I'm not in wisdom mind. So just move to wisdom mind. And it just does not work that way, unfortunately. So for me, it was also more the recognition of the striving, the efforting, as you said, or essentially, and you know, you're in the empowerments in Empowerment 4 when we see all the beliefs, all the assumptions, all the button pushers, and all the things that just basically are launch pads into the stories, into basically living from and through our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. And to then recognize whenever I emphasize those, that scope of what I see is possible is very limited. It's very narrow.
Mhm.
And when I rest, there is so much more spaciousness, and there is an ease from which decisions are naturally arising. So I think for me, like identifying tension, even physical tension, as a reminder to relax for a short moment was good. Things like that, so that this gaining confidence can then over time naturally and instinctively, less so by pinning it down, but in an instinctive way of seeing the flow of the wisdom mind in action. And, you know, wisdom mind sounds also so amazing, right? Like, who wouldn't want a wisdom mind? But it's,
Exactly.
you know, it's right. But it's, you know, the mind that makes coffee in the morning, um, or chooses to have a cup of tea instead of a coffee without even thinking about it. It's just the flow of everyday life, the wisdom mind that animates all beings in this universe. So it's not always like that grand wisdom mind that has the latest and greatest innovations and has breakthroughs. It's also just the mind that just simply knows how to be and what to do in day-to-day kind of situations.
Okay. So it seems to me that it's more of a growing recognition of wisdom mind um, by practicing short moments as often as many, many, many times. And eventually the recognition will be there. instead of searching for a way to know when I'm doing it wrong. I just need to keep open to knowing that I will recognize wisdom mind, open intelligence more and more and more.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Debbie. Great. Anyone else has a question or wants to share? And nice to meet you also, Jenny. Do you have a question? You'll let us know then. Perfect. And
A few names also here I haven't met before. David and Tam might not be right there with us, but Tenzin, welcome. Yeah, if any of you have any questions or would like to share how you came across this teaching, across our meetup, we'd love to hear from you. But of course, if you're here a lot, we'd still love to hear from you. Just inviting our new friends as well to feel comfortable to raise your hands.
I have a
Even, yeah,
question.
go ahead.
So we talk about relying on open intelligence and gaining confidence. Is that I guess I kind of got stuck on that and trying to think that I don't really rely on open intelligence. I can take a short moment, but I don't know if I'm just is then I got this book on the one simple change, and says like relying on open intelligence or gaining confidence in open intelligence are just like synonymous with taking a short moment. I think that's what it was saying, but it sounds like when I think about relying on it, like I don't know, like in a stressful situation, I should just rely and let it go. Like I don't know. Is there a Am I thinking about this right? Is relying on open intelligence like something different than just remembering to take a short moment? Or
It's the same thing. Same thing. You rely on it by taking a short moment. So for that micro moment, that's when you choose to rely on it. And typically, especially in like maybe stressful situations or difficult situations, our habit is to then again look at and describe the thoughts, emotions, or the sensations. So that's just the normal habit that we're used to. And then with another short moment, we again choose to rely on open intelligence. So they're completely interchangeable.
is it something that you should not have to think about? Like, oh, I got to take a short moment, and
No,
then
you can have that thought.
but
That's okay.
it'll just happen. Like, I don't know. It seems like if I was relying on it and having confidence in open intelligence, I wouldn't have to think to take a short moment, like, or I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking.
well, yes, it's true. After a while, there's more an instinctive recognition, and you no longer need to take short moments.
Okay.
Even though it's still enjoyable to take a short moment, but really it's slightly instinctive and continuous, and it isn't really something to think about. What happens when gaining confidence, is how we say it, gaining confidence in open intelligence, what happens that you might be thinking, oh, wow, I didn't think of short moments a half a day, and then you've noticed, but I was actually definitely resting naturally, and it's just instinctive, and you go about your day, and it's very clear that there was open intelligence present. So yes, but initially I wouldn't think too much about that. I would just take short moments, remind, and it'll become clear over time. But initially I would not think about and try to get there. Because it doesn't matter in the end. Well, it does matter, but it is like a short moment is a very just a wonderful way of being.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's also really yeah, it's just so supportive because we never know what happens in life as unexpected or expected challenges and when we are faced with that, when we gain confidence, we have the short moment, but also all the four mainstays, meaning everything that supports and evokes open intelligence is the support systems like the short moment or reading text or books, right? That one simple change. I have it also here. And listening to talks, being on meetings like this where we hear each other, all of that, and a trainer that we can ask something. All of that supports deepening or gaining confidence and sometimes things happen in life that are difficult and it doesn't mean we're going backwards when we feel like, wow, where's this open intelligence? Or we feel just difficulties, but it actually deepens open intelligence in a powerful way. Facing, yeah, suffering, facing difficult times. And for me, difficult times along the way over the last many years have deepened my confidence in open intelligence rather than taking anything away. Yeah. So what I'm saying there's also then it's just having short moments, having the four mainstays there is a good support for those times. Yeah. Yeah. And Amanda, how's it? And then, okay, we can go first to Carissa then, and Amanda, if you also then after wants to share. But Carissa,
Hi, good morning.
hello.
I wanted to go through a scenario because it seems like part of the human condition is being your own enemy in a way. And so, say you have a behavior, habits, patterns that are something that you are wanting to change, or something that's not fulfilling you to enact, whatever. And so, say it's a behavior for simplicity's sake. So this behavior is arising. So I'm resting in the face of this behavior. Well, the part that I'm confused about is there's that critic, analyzer part of me that wants to stop that behavior or wants to place judgment on it. But in the spaciousness of these teachings, you don't need to augment anything. It's just that resting. So I come at this kind of impasse of like, do I try to curtail or augment this behavior or thought process, whatever, in that moment? Because sometimes, I'll rest in it, but now I'm wondering, am I supposed to be like, making a choice that I would, like my normal mindset would be to stop this behavior or to encourage a new behavior or something like this. And so I guess I'm in the infancy stage of resting, but this is something I've been wondering about.
Hi, Jochen, yes.
Yeah, okay. I think we're unmuting at the same time. Maybe just briefly there, Kathy, then fill in more if you like. But it's such a good question and one that I've played with myself many times over the years. And what's really liberating, at least in the beginning, is I'm now talking about all kinds of like everyday kind of decisions and actions. So if there is something that's like, I don't know, harmful to oneself or others, or like has big ramifications, like I'm not talking about those. Like, but for everyday kind of situations, habits that we've gone through many times, like in the flow of everyday life. Like for some reason, the weirdest thing comes to my mind, like, should I have another coffee or not? Like I really want to, but I don't think I should because then, like I will probably feel edgy in half an hour but I really want to have another coffee and I usually get a little treat with the coffee and I like those little treats as well. And so there's all this thing. And um, what's really, really liberating is to prioritize gaining confidence in open intelligence and translate that to whatever you do, you can take another short moment. So I took another short moment, sometimes making that extra coffee, sometimes not making making the extra coffee, feeling agitated, taking another short moment, and really recognizing that every moment is illuminated by the same spaciousness of open intelligence. So whether I'm agitated or not, um, in the ultimate sense, it doesn't matter. However, it also then applies to the very beginning of all of this, like when the urge, the desire for the coffee and for the treat comes up, also rests there. And increasingly, this resting, that spaciousness, that ease, then also somehow seeps into those habit patterns and kind of diffuses them in a like so that it's not as reactive or as habitual anymore. And there is more of like a instinctive flow, sometimes also more of a deliberate choice where I before maybe didn't even have a choice. So, but to bring all of this to that simple moment when you're there, to just know this is actually not that important. Like whether I do it or not, my main priority for right now is to discover open intelligence in whatever it is that comes next here and whatever comes next. And that brought a lot more ease into my choices and decision making. Like it takes this importance and the significance away. And I guess ultimately there will always be some habitual patterns for a human living on this planet. Like we're thirsty, we're hungry, we want to sleep, we want connection. So there will always be ways of being in the world that in some way respond habitually to those drives and desires and motivations, and we can be free within them. That for me was the most liberating. But then over time, as I said, also gave me more stability in the decision making, you could say. Happy for you to share as
I
well,
think
Kathy.
this
No,
is
all good.
powerful. I think the maintaining of open intelligence, because the the wish to change our habits or change behaviors, and also obviously open intelligence is naturally beneficial. That becomes more and more an instinctive experience. But often the ideas of what beneficial is, obviously, is then also something that opens up. But I really love that instruction of maintaining open intelligence rather than feeling we have to change a certain thing about us. Yeah, basically, yeah, you did all comprehensive and a share there, but the maintaining open intelligence or relying on open intelligence and discovering really everything that is around cause and effect and our cause and effect thinking, but also just everything we think about habitual patterns. So that is, and the effect of those on us. And getting to know everything as the energy of open intelligence is a very radical way of of being, which is never an extreme. We do naturally take care of our body mind. Yeah. Yeah. And Amanda, how's our things flowing?
Yeah, I've done empowerment 4, I think. I don't know. I did loads of questions and now I'm on the next bit. But I haven't with a table. I haven't started that yet. It was enough with the questions.
Right.
Um,
It's a big one, empowerment 4, right?
yeah. Um, my as a sense of so everything is open intelligence and there's rarefied data. So my sense is it's about not emphasizing one piece of data perhaps over another.
Mm.
So, but more than that, not if you see everything as sort of open, everything is open intelligence, but it's about shifting the sense of observation, isn't it? From looking at things like down a microscope to um, thinking you're the one looking down the microscope to everything. So you are the one looking down so open intelligence includes, so there is not what I'm looking at, what this body mind is looking at, but the body mind is as same as the microscope.
Mm. Well, yes, everything is appearing as open intelligence, body mind, the microscope, and the one who's looking. But actually, when you're just at the list of empowerment 4, it will evoke it's actually exactly what you're speaking about, but more in a simplified way, because everything that we feel is something, and we are trying to figure something out in terms of what it is. We are avoiding open intelligence in that moment by looking at it. So, and that's what the list does. It lists everything we either feel resentment for, or we feel confused about, or we have belief systems around, any belief, even around what open intelligence is.
Yeah.
And then it asks in the next column, how does that avoid open intelligence, resting as open intelligence? How does that avoid resting as open intelligence? All our beliefs, or maybe thoughts around, even around open intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
and mostly we've noticed that we are thinking about it or emphasizing thoughts, emphasizing a belief around something.
Yeah, it's hard because I had lots of Christian beliefs that I don't like. A part of me doesn't believe them anymore, but they still are very prevalent in running. So even though I know I don't believe those, it's like believing in Father Christmas. I don't believe in Father Christmas anymore, but a part of me does believe in Father Christmas still. I mean, not Father Christmas,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's nice.
but I don't believe in Father Christmas, but I
Yeah.
still believe in this sort of Christian God because it was so, in quite a limited way, it was so brainwashed into me as a child. So although intellectually I could give you it's like I could talk a lot about open intelligence and that Christ, for example, Jesus being a manifestation of open intelligence, no different from, but it's still really hard because the a part was kind of brainwashed with all of that. So I have both going on.
Mm. Of course, that's for now, actually, it's not about needing to believe something else or try to even do something with maybe beliefs that we either believe in or even not believe in anymore, but they rule our actions or our day. It's, there are many very collective and deep beliefs that even if we don't actively believe, like the original sin, and we are
Puritanical
flawed.
work ethic,
Yeah. This is something we all feel in one way or another, and it affects us that we are wrong or originally flawed, rather than being pure open intelligence. So, yeah, but no, it's like it can't be. I have to be this and that to be pure. I have to have only these kinds of thoughts, right?
I mean,
Actions.
intellectually, I don't believe those, but
Yeah,
they
but then
still run somewhere in the background.
yeah, and you don't need to really fix yourself in that way. For now, it's really like, we all feel like, oh God, we need to be so fixed now. We have to really resolve these kinds of deep beliefs or habits, right? And then taking a short moment there is, yeah, seeing. You're seeing a lot, right? That's what comes also up with Empowerment 4, actually. It's like, oh, suddenly it gets more like obvious. Therefore, we might feel even we have more data, more beliefs, right? So then we think, oh God, how to like deal with this big pile. Actually, that is what happens in Empowerment 4. So
It's like biases, a lot of people don't know they have negative or positive bias. They don't even know they have it because it's just automatic. So most people are operating with beliefs they're not even aware they've got.
yeah, and then once you're aware of them, then you see everything. That might not make it easier initially, but now you have a short moment to take rather than try to figure out how to get rid of or change this belief. Right?
Yeah, because some beliefs I've got I don't want to have,
you don't want to
and
have, yeah.
and they don't go away.
Yeah.
And I see them and I'm like, no, I don't think that makes you a good person to have that belief. And they're still running, and I've read books to try and change them, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that's a lot of effort, and it's of course your innate wish to
you want it to be in
really
line with your
with your
value.
own value and authentic self. And but with open intelligence, it's the other way around. It's not about changing or working on these beliefs. It's about recognizing it all as the dynamic energy of open intelligence.
Yeah,
And
but when
not
you see them and you're like, oh, actually, I would like to not have that one, because it's not just because I don't want to be seen as someone not having that one, but I genuinely in my heart would like to feel differently. So when you see them, it's quite hard not to then, yeah. It's like
want
if
to
you
change.
never saw a dog and then you were afraid of dogs, and you saw other people weren't afraid of dogs, and you're like, oh, I don't want to be afraid of dogs. I want to walk down the street and not be afraid of dogs. So suddenly you're like, oh, how do I not be afraid of dogs?
Yeah. So
I'm
how
not
do
doing
you
it to
do
be
that?
liked. I just would like to not. I am not afraid of dogs, but
Yeah, but it's a good example because then what can you do? Your body
yeah,
reacts and you
yeah,
have sensations. So you can fight with that. I don't want to feel this. And we usually tense up more. And
yeah.
then the story goes on. I shouldn't feel afraid of dogs. Other people are not afraid. What can I do? Then I try to avoid dogs, but how can I avoid dogs all the time? And then suddenly there are more dogs, and so it's like a constant struggle. So what to do? So there's there's a new way of using our mind and feeling all these feeling, the fear, the being afraid. We rest, we take a short moment. What happens when we actually allow that to be there as it is? For now, we are just, for now in Empowerment 4, actually, we are just seeing that we are avoiding open intelligence by emphasizing the story. So I'm actually jumping to Empowerment 6 and 7 when I say we allow it to be as it is, because that's actually Empowerment 6 and 7. So you're trying to already encapsulate in your experience all the empowerments, which is all an instinctive recognition, but the empowerments pull an instinctive recognition into a big, long process, and then it go instinctive. So you're doing good. You just need to see, oh, I'm emphasizing beliefs, I'm emphasizing fear, I'm looking at it. That's how I'm avoiding open intelligence. You don't even have to know open intelligence at this point.
Yeah,
too
okay.
much. You know it already, I know.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
And just to say, Nisargadatta, who was very realized, he smoked loads of bidis, didn't he? He smoked cigarettes his whole life, so he was fully awake, and he never gave up the habit of smoking. So I think he died of lung cancer, but yeah. So and he was one of the most realized people on the planet.
Yeah. Great. So yeah. Great. Well, thank you, everyone. See the time. So we'll pause here. We'll meet again next week and continue speaking about the 12 empowerments.